5, 4. Yep, we're live. Hold on one second. I'm going to catch somebody before they go. Have them make some more coffee. Give me some soda and I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm Danny, this is Paranoid Times, and I'm here again with Tuck. Tonight, we are working... I'm going over something that happened to me when my daughter passed away. I don't know exactly how to start this. Like, when I work on stories and I write things, I guess everyone's different. I kind of see this stuff flash before my eyes. It happens. Sometimes it feels like I'm watching a movie. Other times it feels like a vision. But this particular one happened about 5 days after she passed away. I was in the room that I'm in now. This is her room. I was laying on the bed, and I felt like I was watching a play of a woman who was living her life through World War III. I saw how things happened. I saw what she experienced. I think she was in the UK. So this is her story. After I watched it, I got up, I wrote it down, and I thought, somebody might want to hear this one day. And maybe this was a vision about her, because it felt prophetic. And maybe this is the way that people do experience these kind of things. You just have to experience it. Now there's a quote that runs through my head when I think about the story. There are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. That is often attributed to Lenin, believe it or not. The trick about the before is that you don't know the before. You don't know what's about to happen. The whole trick, that's the only trick. I was translating a legal contract, German to English, something about a shipping dispute in the Baltic. It was a Tuesday. I had good coffee. The Ethiopian one. The expensive bag I'd been saving. And the light through my window was doing the thing it does in October, where it goes golden at 2 in the morning and stays that way for an hour. It's the most beautiful light in the world. And it makes everything feel like a memory while it's happening. I remember thinking, this is a good day, not a special day, an ordinary day. The news was bad. But the news was always bad. There had been moments on the border. There had been movements on that border for 3 years. There had been summits that had failed, and sanctions that didn't bite, and speeches that nobody believed. The thing about the news going from bad to very bad is that there's no bells that ring, no announcements. It just keeps being bad. And then one day, the bad is different. And by then, you already in it. Now, I watched her pick up a phone. She reads something and she sets it back down, face down. And she says, "My mother called that evening and asked if I was worried." I said, "I'm always a little worried." She said, "That's different than being scared." I said, "I know." She said, "Are you scared?" I said, "Not yet." She said, "Good, don't be, not yet." See, her mother had lived through one of these before, or something adjacent to it, I guess. She knew the texture of it. She said, "Fill the bathtub just in case." I thought she was being her usual dramatic self. I did not fill the bathtub. I should have filled the bathtub. The things that start small, that's always the thing about the thing that starts it. Historians will argue forever about what the actual cause was. The border incident, the cyber attack on the power grid, the naval standoff, the assassination of someone whose name I couldn't have told you 6 weeks earlier. But those are the causes. The spark is something smaller. A convoy crosses a line. A general gives an order that exceeds his authority by 12 kilometers. 12 kilometers. I've driven further than that to find a good bakery. And then the other side responds. And a response requires a response. The sudden language in the UN Security Council is a grave concern, which means nothing, and then deeply alarmed, which means they're talking, and the session's in without a statement, and that means something is already over. In week one, most people I know are glued to their phones. There's a particular feeling. You know the feeling, where the news is so big that normal life seems both absurd and necessary. You're reading about troop movements, and then you're also somehow thinking about whether you need more washing up liquid or dishwashing liquid, and in some cases, toilet paper. I went to the supermarket on Wednesday. The pasta aisle was already half empty. Not because of the shortage, because of the fear of a shortage. Fear of a shortage and the actual shortage are functionally identical within about 48 hours. Week two, mobilization. The word on every channel, every language I speak, partial mobilization, reserve call up, defensive posture elevated. My friend Daniel, we've known each other since university, calls me from his apartment 2 streets over. He says, "Should I leave? Should we leave?" I say, "Leave where?" He says, "I don't know, somewhere west, somewhere quieter." I say, "Everywhere is west of here." We laugh, you laugh. That's the other thing nobody tells you. How much you laugh in the early stages of a crisis. Gallows humor is load-bearing. It holds the structure up while everything else is shaking. The city fills with soldiers for a week and then empties of them, which is somehow more unsettling. A city full of soldiers is alarming. A city where the soldiers were now are in a city that is access to be found is not a priority. Week three, the night becomes real. There's an air raid siren at 3:47 a.m. in the morning. I know the exact time because I was awake. I had been awake, sleeping in the thin, anxious way that you are aware of the sound. And when it went off, I sat upright. For 10 seconds, I didn't know what to do. because I have never actually had to do anything before. My building had the basement. Everyone in the building went to the basement. We stood there, 12 people in pajamas, coats thrown over pajamas. We didn't talk much. There was an older man, Mr. Vask, who brought thermoses of coffee without being asked. And I had thought about that thermos of coffee many times. That someone thought to bring coffee. That someone, hearing the siren, thought, we will need something warm to hold. Nothing fell near us that night. We heard something far away. That might have been thunder, except it wasn't raining. We went back upstairs at dawn. I filled the bathtub that morning. I also filled every pot and bottle and every jar I owned, and then I called my mother, and she said, good. Week 4 through 6, the Cascade. This is the part that historians will eventually call the Cascade. When I read about the First World War in school, I always wondered how many countries could trip into it so quickly, how the alliances could activate like dominoes. I don't wonder that anymore. It happened because everyone is watching everyone else. Because treaties are either everything or nothing. And if they turn out to be nothing, then everything built on them is nothing too. Because some leaders make bets. Some leaders call bluffs. Some leaders are simply afraid of looking afraid. 3 countries invoke Article 5 within 8 days of each other. The phrase theater of conflict appears in official statements. And I think about theaters, actual theaters, the places with velvet seats and programs and intervals where you get a drink. And I think about how metaphors are doing a lot of work. By week 6, it has a name. People are calling it a war. Not the news, official statements. Still use terms like active engagement and heightened security operation. But people are calling it a war. My neighbor, a woman named Sophie, who I had exchanged maybe 40 words with in 3 years of living next to her, knocks on my door and asked if I had any candles to spare. We talked for an hour. Crisis removes the membrane between strangers. That is the first good thing. There will be others you have to hold on to. Good things. Because these are real. And that the bad things will try to convince you they are only things that are not real. They're not. But you have to work to remember that. Every day you have to work at it. Month 2, what you eat. Food is the first thing that reorganizes your life, not the absence of food. We are lucky. I know we are lucky. But the changed relationship to it. You become a person who thinks about food differently, who notices what you have, who doesn't waste. The supply chains don't collapse. Not here, not yet, but they stutter. Certain things disappear for weeks, then reappear. Certain things become expensive slowly, the way a tide comes in, and one day you notice the floor is wet. I've become a very good cook. This is not a joke. Necessity and boredom and the need to feel competent at something producing in me an ability to make generally good meals out of almost nothing. Lentils with whatever I have. Bread, because flour and yeast keep, and I have learned to make bread. Soup, always soup, because soup is forgiving, warm, It makes an apartment smell like someone is taking care of something. Sophie and I start cooking together twice a week. We pull ingredients. We don't talk about the war while we cook. We made this rule. Unspoken at first, then spoken. While we cook, we talk about other things. Her daughter's school drawings, a book she's reading, a television show from 3 years ago that she missed and now is watching. Normal topics or political acts of resistance. I believe this. Month 2. This is the grammar of the crisis that you learn. Certain things you don't say out loud, not because they're unsaleable, but because saying them too often wires the word down. If you say, I'm afraid every day, afraid loses its meaning. You lose access to the thing, the words, what pointed at. You save words for when you need them. What you say instead is, how are you doing? And you mean it. You mean it the way the same question meant nothing before. You say, let me know if you need anything. And you mean that too. And people take you up on it. And you take them up on it. The social fabric, which I had been taught about much before, it was just there, invisibly holding things together. I can feel it now. Like you only notice your skeleton when something is testing it. Month 3, information and noise. The hardest daily problem is information. Not too little, too much. None of it is trustworthy. Official sources are optimistic in a specific, unconvincing way. Social media catastrophizing every hour. There are people who are sharing maps with authority-looking arrows on them. And there are people who insist those maps are fabricated and that there is no way from my apartment to know which is true. I am a translator. I speak 5 languages. I thought this would help. It only helps in the sense that I can read the mess in 5 languages instead of 1. I settle on a routine. 2 news checks a day, morning and evening, a specific station. One I decide is to basically trust. In between, I try not to look. This is extremely difficult, and I fail at it consistently. I try again the next day. Managing your relationship with the information during a crisis is a skill nobody teaches you, and everybody needs. Daniel, who is the person incapable of not knowing things, burns out in month 2. He reads everything compulsively for 60 days. And then one morning he calls me and says he hasn't looked at any news for 4 days and feels better and worse simultaneously. Better because his nervous system has unclenched. Worse because he feels like he's not paying attention. Like something might happen he won't know about. I say something is always happening. And you can only know so much of it. The rest is just suffering. He says the wisest thing I've ever said. I say I read it on the internet. Month 4. What you miss? I miss music venues. I miss sitting in crowded rooms for reasons that have nothing to do with emergencies. I miss being bored. Properly luxurious bored. The boredom before, the boredom of waiting for a bus, or the slow afternoon of a film that isn't quite working. The boredom was made of peace. I did not know of it. I miss my mother being in a different city without it meaning anything. She is still in a different city. But now, the different city is a daily wait. Everyone I know is missing something specific. Sophie misses her sister, who's on the other side of the border. That is now technically a front. Daniel misses certainty. He says the strange thing to miss because he never had it to begin with. But there's an illusion of it. An illusion, and the illusion didn't work. And then it did. Mr. Vask, I have gotten to know him better, misses his garden. He has an allotment outside the city that he can't get to anymore. He says the leeks will be fine without me, but I won't be fine without the leeks. We are species of habit. And when the habit becomes interrupted, we discover how much of our self we have made. There is a phenomena I read about sometimes. Researchers study it in previous conflicts. It's called stress. I just made a mess. Sorry. I'm picking up coffee, if you're wondering. I've overfilled my cup. I was paying attention to what I was doing here. Alright, anyway. The nervous system can only maintain acute fear for so long. After a while, it recalibrates back to baseline. What was terrific becomes uncomfortable, and what was uncomfortable becomes normal. What was normal becomes a memory from a different life. This sounds like a good thing. It is, and it isn't. The sirens don't jolt me out of sleep anymore. I wake, note it, assess the pattern, and decide whether to go to the basement. Often I stay in bed. This is probably rational. It's also frightened me a little that I've become someone who does cost-benefit analysis about irate sirens at 3 in the morning and then go back to sleep. The war is in the East mostly. I am in the middle. The people in the East are having different experience than me. I think about this often with something I don't have a clean word for. Survivor's guilt isn't it. I haven't survived anything yet. Moral luck, maybe. The fact of geology, which I had no hand in, is the difference between my life and a life I can't really imagine. Refugees come through the city. We're a transit point. Sophie and I volunteer at distribution centers on weekends, clothes, food, translations. I translate 7 hours of it. Sometimes people asking questions in language I carry, and some I stretch. Occasionally ones I don't speak at all. And we find another way, though. A woman about my age hands me her daughter while she fills out her paperwork. The girl may be 3. She looks at me with completely calm, curious eyes, not traumatized. Children are adapt in ways that are both reassuring and devastating to witness. She holds my thumb. We wait together while her mother writes. I think about this child a great deal. She's no longer with us. Money changes shape, not disappears, changes. My translation work is still there, mostly. Less commercial work, mostly from NGOs, emergency service, and journalists. I earn less, I spend less. The whole economy recalibrates about what becomes necessary. You find out the necessities, the much smaller category than you thought. The most of what you spend money on before, not nothing exactly, was not necessary. I have not bought new clothes in a year. I have not noticed this as much as I expected to. I have not gone out to a restaurant once, friend's birthday. A deliberate act of normalcy. All of us treated for a quiet reverence, like a ceremony. We dressed up We ordered things we didn't need. We laughed more loudly than the food warranted. On the way home, I cried. And I wasn't sure if it was joy or grief or both. I decided it was both. And that was fine. What people argue about. Some people get worse between people. Some things get worse between people. Some things are better. It's not predictable which direction any particular relationship will go. Daniel and I argue about politics. This is new. Before we had compatible views and soft disagreements about minor things, and now we have hard disagreements about larger things. And whether our government is making the right calls, or whether the alliance is holding, or whether ending it quickly or worse terms is better than prolonging it from better terms. These are not abstract questions anymore. So the argument has not been abstract either. We stay friends. This requires effort from both of us that either of us acknowledge out loud. Some friendships in the city don't survive. People who choose sides within the crisis, the optimists and the catastrophists, the ones who trust institutions, and the ones who have given up on them. It becomes hard sometimes to share a room with someone who has made different choices about the holds of uncertainty. Mr. Vass says, we have dinner now, 3 of us, Sophie, me, and him, roughly once a week. In my experience, what pulls people apart isn't the bad things. It's what the bad things ask them to believe about themselves. I've turned this over in my hands many times since, and I think he's right. I want to say this clearly because I think it gets left out of the stories people tell afterward. In the absence from the stories is a live omission. There is joy during all this. There is joy. Not despite the circumstances. Sometimes because of them. Sophie's daughter, her name is Leanna. She's 7. Leanna puts on a play for us in the apartment. Written by herself, performed by herself, with sock puppets as the supporting cast. They are incomprehensible and wonderful. We applaud. We demand encores. We become temporary people who are watching a child's suck puppet play for nothing else. Mr. Vask grows tomatoes on his windowsill in small pots. They're not many. They are not large. But they are red, round, and they smell like summer in August. The first August. He gives each of us 3 tomatoes and says nothing. We understand. There's a night when someone in the building plays piano. Just starts playing. We don't know who. We never heard the piano before. It goes on for an hour. Everyone in the building, I think, stops what they're doing and listens. Nobody knocks and asks them to stop. Nobody says anything. In the mornings, no one mentions it. But everyone walks a little differently. Joy does not stop. It adapts. It gets smaller and more precise. It goes from broad ambient joy to good things in life. The light through the window, the expensive coffee, and sometimes specific and deliberate 3 tomatoes, a sock puppet, an hour of a piano from a neighbor whose name you don't know. You become a connoisseur of small joys. This is what the crisis gives you. Though I would not say you were fortunate to receive it, but the prices are too high. At some point, and this point is different for everyone, and there's no right answer, you face the question, do you stay or do you go? It's not one question. It's 100 questions nested inside each other. Where would you go? What would you do with what you have? What do you owe the place that made you? What do you owe yourself? If you have people who depend on you, what do you owe them? What constitutes bad enough as a threshold? How do you know when you've reached it? How do you know you haven't already passed it? Daniel goes. He goes to stay with his family in the country further west. He calls me before he leaves. We talk for 2 hours. And we don't talk about whether he's right. He is right, and he's wrong. Those are both true. He's right because he's protecting himself, and because he's preserving the possibility of future. He's wrong in the way of leaving anything is wrong. Something is lost in the leaving. Some things that can't be fully regained. I don't know when he goes whether I'm staying because of courage or stubbornness or inertia, or because my mother is here and I won't leave her, or because I have started to believe in some way I can't quite articulate that staying is the only way I know what this actually is. All of these things are true simultaneously. In the vision, I watch her open a suitcase. It's packed, not overpacked. Carefully, practically packed. And then she looks at me. I packed it in month 3. I kept it packed. I don't know if I will use it. Having it packed is the way of holding 2 futures at once. The one where I stay and the one where I go, without collapsing into another. The packed suitcase is uncertainly made tangible. It is both the option and the reason I don't have to take it yet. My mother has an identical one. I helped her pack it. We packed in the same way. So if we leave the same things. We leave with the same things. She has a photograph she keeps on top, just beneath the lid. My father, who died before all this. She says he never had to pack a suitcase like this. She says it's like a gift she's giving him. Like she's glad he didn't have to. I watched the woman close the suitcase gently. But the question doesn't go away. You just live alongside it. Every week you are answering it again, and the answer shifts, the situation shifts, and you answer it again. It's the most constant question of this period. It's the question under all other questions. I don't have an answer to give you. I have a question. Maybe that will work. Learning to hold questions long enough without resolving it prematurely. Staying in the uncertainty without letting it make your decisions for you. My mother says, the people who survived what I survived were not the bravest. They were not the most cowardly. They were the ones who stayed awake, who kept looking, who didn't decide in advance what was going to happen. I am trying to be that person. I don't always manage it. I am telling you this from the other side of it, not the far other side. I don't know yet how far the other side is. The acute phase is over. The ceasefire has held for 8 months. Everyone says ceasefire carefully. The way you say remission carefully. Because the word is good news. you don't want to break it by leaning on it too hard. The work now is different. The work now is trying to figure out what you've become. Some of it's good. I am braver than I was, not fearless. I don't think fearlessness is a virtue. I think it's usually just failure of imagination, but braver. The things that used to make me anxious, the small social fractions and frictions, the professional uncertainties, the ordinarily unpredictable things of ordinary life. They have lost more of their power. The threshold has moved. I know what I carry now because I've carried it. I am less patient with waste, with time, with food, with conversation, with anything. I'm also more patient with people. These sounds contradictory. They were both true. Daniel came back. He came back 3 months after the ceasefire. He looked different. Not worse exactly, but changed. He had done what he needed to do. I had done what I needed to do. We don't rank those choices against each other. When he came back, we went to a restaurant. We dressed up. We ordered things we didn't need. And this time I knew exactly why I was crying before it started. Sophie's sister came through the city last month. On her way somewhere more stable. They hadn't seen each other in 14 months. I was there. Sophie asked me to be there, which I understood as, I need a witness for this. I need someone to see the moment with me so it's real. They embraced it in the street for a long time, and neither of them said, for a while. And Leanna, who was 8 now, looked up at her aunt like she was trying to memorize her face. Mr. Vass got back his allotment. The leaks, it turns out, had done fine without him. He found this funny. He brought his leeks for a week. I still have some dried hanging in my kitchen. I don't know why I'm keeping them or telling you this. I think I'm keeping them because it means something. I don't have a word yet. Evidence that things grow. Evidence that they wait. History will make this into something shapely, a chapter, a period, a set of causes and effects, and certain points and names you'll remember. History will tidy it up and give it edges and make it more comprehensible. But I can assure you it will not be like you remember it. This is not what it is or what it was like to live inside it. Inside it was more long, continuous present tense. It was the next meal, the last meal, the next siren, the next piece of news, the next time you pick up the phone hoping for your mother's voice. Or finding out who you lost. It was a small, enormous, simultaneously it was ordinary life with a different sky above it, red and burning. I want to tell you, I mean this without comfort seeking, without wanting to make this easier than it is. I want to tell you that people are more capable than you know. That the things you think will break you will eventually be the things that break you. That the things that hold us usually are not the things you expect to hold, not the institutions, not the plans, but the people who brings the thermos of coffee to the basement at 4 a.m, the hours of piano from someone whose names you don't know, The 3 tomatoes on the windowsill in August. Hold on to those. That's not advice. It's just what I've learned, what it taught me. If I had to say what this long year was, really understanding everything, it was discovery. Most people, given a chance, will try to help. Not all people, not always, but most people, most of the time when it counts, will try. And I didn't know that before. And I was too cynical to believe it. I was wrong. And that's where it ended.
That was a well-written, deep story. Like, you know, uh, all we need is, what's his name? And now you know the rest of the story.
I mean, yeah, it was a wild little thing. I mean, there's a lot of those actually. Um, how long am I going for? Like 41 minutes. Okay, I'm close to it. But anyway, I'm glad everybody stuck around for that mess. I'm sorry. It was something was on my mind and it was there, and I just wanted to get it out. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well and doing good. Um, we have a lot of different stuff we could cover if you want to. You want to jump back on the weapons? We have like 3 or 4 more things to do on those.
Which weapons?
We was talking about, I think the last one we were talking about was the August 15 and the persistent surveillance systems. We were getting into the more crazier weapons.
Was it okay? Was this from the UFO files or is this
No.
AI?
This was before. This was like the weapons they didn't want you to know about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason the file's up on my computer. I'm like, well, we'll just do that if you want to do it. But the next one was dark matter, classified space weapons and orbital programs. The first one on our list is the X-37B orbital test vehicle. Now, this one people have blamed on a UFO several times. It's an unmanned space plane that has completed missions over 900 days in orbit. Its payload and mission have never been officially disclosed. Leading theories is directed energy testing, signal intelligence, and satellite inspection and destruction. This thing is a little smaller than our old space shuttles, believe it or not. You ever heard of the rods from God thing?
No.
Now, I'm surprised there because this was like all over the internet. I mean, people were talking about it. But apparently we invented this. We took these big tungsten telephone pole size rods, and I don't know if we put them up in orbit, but the idea was to put them in orbit and drop them from an orbital platform. There's no explosive needed, just physics. And when these rods hit the ground, it is the equivalent of a small nuclear weapon with no detectable signature. So I mean, they basically could drop this on a city and just wipe it out, and they wouldn't know how it happened.
Yeah. Oh my. That's actually very intelligent. I'm surprised that came from the military. Um,
I mean, it's. I mean, like I said, they there's like no one can know about it. No one would know about it. I mean, the only way we found about it is it was in some like these classified papers and stuff, and like they have a whole file on it. I mean, it's like, hello, Who in the world in the what? That must be a bot or something. Yo, hello, I just came across your stream and dropped a follow before heading out. I
Yeah,
respect
it's a
the
bot.
hustle. Yeah, okay.
I even get like like AI bots fucking leaving comments on my channel. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of a little unsettling.
It is. It is when they pop up, especially Twitch. I know Twitch has got some kind of issue. I mean, now this is like the biggest text I have gotten or biggest message I have gotten from a Twitch bot. I mean, that's the reason it made me pause there and read it. I was like, what in the world? Um, I've never heard of this person. I mean, they're talking, yeah, weird.
Yeah, and you get all kinds of stuff, but as long as they're chatting, it's good for you.
It is.
I love trolls. Trolls bring people in, because all of a sudden you got a troll just blowing up your chat. Next thing you know, you got like 200-300 people in there, and you're like, "Well, thank you, troll. You did absolutely nothing, but thank you." You know.
True, true, true. Uh,
Yeah.
now the next one is co-orbital anti-space systems, ASAT. They are classified satellites that can approach, inspect, interfere with, and destroy enemy satellites. Russia's Cosmos series and the U.S. response program remain deeply classified.
So is this a joint thing for Earth defense?
No, this is like against each other.
Oh, I can slap you harder. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's basically what they've been doing. They've been like trying to up one or the other.
Yeah. Well, we keep talking about how we're technologically behind, but at least from what I've read, we are still way ahead, even if we were to go stupid.
It is. I'm confused with the chat. I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. All right. Geosynchronous persistent surveillance satellites. This is one of the things that scared me. New generation platforms that can read license plate or faces from 36 kilometers up. Multiple nations have achieved this, and none have confirmed it. Um,
Wow. That makes you wonder, like, who the puppeteer is, because if all these nations are doing it, there's got to be somebody at the top who's getting them all to integrate to each other so that they can maintain whatever perceived control that they have.
yeah, yeah. This is live. I'm trying to figure out what you're going on about, Misty. I don't understand what you're doing or saying or whatever. I mean, if you want to talk and do whatever, you're more than welcome to. I mean, and if uh, you know it, I don't understand what you're implying, trying to do, or trying to accomplish. But yeah, this is live. This is your verification that this is live. Okay.
No, this is an illusion. You're
Yeah.
dreaming.
Yeah,
Pinch
you're
yourself.
dreaming. This is an illusion. This is not the reality. Anyway.
Yeah, pinch yourself. Yeah.
God.
Because it's like, hey, if you
Okay, if you just want to listen, that's fine. I just want to make sure that I didn't understand what you were trying to say there. I mean, like I said, you're more than welcome to. Everything I do is live except for my main videos, my other videos. So, you know, yeah. And I mean, I was concerned about your comments because right before that, I got a weird thing from Twitch, and and then you popped in. I was trying to figure out what's going on. But you're cool. Don't worry about it. All right. Biocode, the genetic weapons and designer pathogens. All right. this is the other thing that kind of like worries me, and I hope it doesn't have anything to do with like the hantavirus or anything. Um, the cost of sequencing a genome has fallen from $3 billion to $200. Did you know that?
Say what?
The cost to sequence your DNA has fallen from $3 billion in 2003 to $200 today.
Wow.
So that means it makes it a whole lot easier for governments and people to use your data and stuff to do bad things with. You know, he's talking about some medical stuff. They can look at your DNA now and figure out basically what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I find that concerning. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's parts of it that I understand that I agree with, because in the same way in the Constitution we have the General Welfare Clause. I think that this is something that all governmental organizations need to do, which is to make sure to maintain the health of the population. Sometimes it seems a little authoritarian because you've got some crazies at the top. But, if it were ran by somebody that was competent and unbiased or neutral, it would be necessary.
I mean, I thought there was like rules and stuff on this. I thought we had like original rules that covered, um, genetic identifications and things like that. I thought that stuff was there. I thought it was like written in somehow, like
Well, you could sit there and argue that under the Fourth Amendment, your right to privacy. However, because you're a U.S. citizen, you no longer have a right to privacy. You have a right to due process, but that is the only right you have. Versus, the other argument which is going to be used, which would be the General Welfare Clause. And so you could go to the Supreme Court and you could have technical arguments over specific wording, phrasing, or ideology, but that's gonna be your push and your pull. But at the end of the day, the General Welfare Clause is going to supersede the Fourth Amendment, because as a U.S. citizen, you have no rights, only privileges.
has Dr. Pepper ever tasted like weed to you guys before?
Once in a while.
I just took a sip of some Dr. Pepper and boy, it tasted like weed. maybe I'm fiending for a joint or something. Anyway, the top one on this list. Now, see, that was just the walk-ins, like the biological weapons and gene programs and stuff like that. But the ones that really like scared me was the ethical targeted bioweapons. Weapons. Ethical. That's what it says. What they call it. It's the ETB.
What's ethical about a biological weapon?
Well, ethically targeted.
Ethically targeted? Is that like saying, oh, we let them eat grass instead of corn?
Yes. Now, see, this is the thing. These weapons are designed to exploit genetic variants common in specific populations. It was acknowledged as theoretically feasible by the Pentagon's own 2017 Biodefense Posture Review. And
hold on a second. Because remember we're talking about the rumor is that Nixon went over there to China to make a deal with Mao to create what we now know as the vid, the SARS. Which was first released in like 2000 or 99, and it was, he wanted to get revenge, and so to be able to have it to genetically target Americans, I never thought it would be possible, but you're telling me it's now possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's been possible for a little bit now. I mean, 100% possible. They can target, you got red hair, they can target you. They got blue eyes, they can target you. If you got,
yeah, but then everybody that has red hair is getting targeted, not just me.
Yeah, but I mean that they can. But once you start like
So then we do have to,
Once you start classifying certain things, let's say you target somebody who has, let's say you're trying to target somebody who has red hair, brown eyes, and certain size fingers. Well, you start knocking out those numbers a lot. You're maybe a jawline or whatever. I mean, if you remember back, or if you don't know, I mean, this has been on the table since Germany. I mean, this was stuff they know they needed to do. They literally went around the world and measured people's cranials and eyes and everything else. They were studying and trying to get some baseline about, the differences in different populations and people, and they were looking for ways to ethically remove them. Um, yeah.
wow. I love how they take it. Wow. Yeah, wordplay is so. Yeah, keep going.
You're fine. I mean, I agree. This is some crazy stuff. Now, you'll like this one too. This is DARPA's Safe Gene. Oh, DARPA's Safe Genes program.
Safe jeans.
Yeah.
So what did they bulletproof a pair of fucking Levi's?
No. We're talking genes as like in your DNA still.
Yeah, I know. I'm being a smart.
Oh yeah. Okay. Officially a biosafety program. Critics, including the former NIH director, suggest it is simultaneously a gene drive weapon that's running in parallel. So basically, what they have figured out how to do is to either
genetically modify people.
No, that's they know how to do that. This we get into that next. What this thing does is they can point this thing at you, or they can put a patch on you, or you might touch a doorknob or whatever, and you basically deconstruct.
What, you melt like a fucking witch to water?
Yeah. Like, I guess that would be the I mean, I never really thought about it that way, but yeah.
I'm melting. Oh my god.
Like how a bath bomb, you throw a bath bomb in a bathtub and it.
Oh damn! So you're gonna? Oh man. Well, they say the last thing you do before you deconstruct is piss and shit yourself. That ought to be interesting.
I mean, there was like cases. I think I did a video on it, but I mean it was like it was like covered up real quick, but I don't know, like 6-7 years ago, there was an extreme popularity in bath bombs.
I remember.
Okay, well, somebody had done some very bad things. They had taken a compound and put it in there, and it had an acid in it. So people were throwing those in their bathtubs, and when they got in, it was messing them up.
Oh damn.
These things were coming out of, like, I don't know if it was coming out of China, but it was definitely coming from one of those more shady places. One of those pop-up things you see online. But yeah, we were all, the kids loved the bath bombs and everything else, and every time I turned around, someone was talking about a new color or something. But
and then they also had like gifts in the center and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's like little rings and things, and you started seeing people proposing to people, in there and whatnot. But yeah, it was wild. But all I'm saying is, I don't trust anything on the internet anymore. It's hard for me to do that kind of thing, especially stuff that people make.
Everything on the internet is true.
Oh yeah. I mean, in one way it is, in one way it's not.
Well, it's true for someone.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I mean, like like I say, this safe gene gun thing. I mean, I would have never in a million years thought it was real. But like I said, I mean, this is some like high end sci-fi stuff. I mean, like
Who
you.
would you target with that though? All of a
Well,
sudden,
I
the
mean,
fucking Shah of
you're.
Iran is, if like the mullahs or whatever, touches a doorknob and he fucking melts like a witch. I mean, people are gonna be like, it was the Americans.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, who else would have that kind of technology? I mean, who else in the world would have that kind of technology to do that kind of thing with? I can maybe Russia, maybe China, but still, come on, though. I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, if that was starting to happen and go on, and people were walking around, and people got ring cameras and shit now, and you see somebody burst in the mist.
A fart in the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but could you imagine that being like, this is the way you want to be a hermit? Like, fuck the world, I'm gonna put this shit on my doorknob. Fucking Amazon guy comes up, never fucking shows back up to work again.
Well, no, I mean, it's targeted. I mean, it's like I said, it's like I mean, that's the bad thing. It's like they can program this stuff like where it knows it's you. I mean, like it's got they'll take your genetic makeup or code or whatever, and they'll put it in this whatever, and then they just wipe some on the doorknob, and someone else touches it, it doesn't do anything to them. But like I say, you walk in and you touch the freaking doorknob, or you pick up your favorite cup or coffee mug or whatever, poof.
Remember that movie with what's his name? Mel Gibson, Conspiracy Theory. I mean, basically, what you're saying is, you better, if you think you're a target, you better just start fucking walking around with wipes every time you touch a doorknob or anything else like that. Have gloves on so that, because anything and that isn't even protecting you. Like, if you really wanted to be paranoid.
Yeah, it knows it's you. Yeah, definitely. I was in chat there, and you. Now the next one is synthetic biology and CRISPR weaponization. Now,
what does that actually translate to?
Okay, CRISPR was basically anyone can do it. I mean, you can go order a kit online right now. Basically, what CRISPR does, it uses a virus code, and you can take a piece of like DNA and incorporate it and inject it into either plant, animal, or human. You can add that in there. You like clip it in. There's a lot of biohackers and stuff that are actually doing this stuff to them. Like they're trying to change their bodies using CRISPR and things, which is not real good. They're using people they believe, and governments and stuff are starting to use CRISPR gene editing technology. I mean, this gene editing technology, we're talking about something that costs maybe $10 or $15 to use, and Chat GPT to figure out.
Yeah, but you can also, this is designer baby shit too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're working on that stuff, man. I seen a whole bunch of stuff yeah. They did a designer baby run. I think it was 6 kids. 5 of them made it. I mean, 4 or 5 of them made it. I don't know what it's. But yeah, they're using this stuff but they're also using this stuff to make and create enhanced pathogens and self-replicating environmental modifiers and targeted toxin delivery organisms. So basically,
that sounds like a lot of 10-cent words.
Yeah, I mean, okay, targeted toxin delivery organisms is basically, once again, they can weaponize. Let's say they can weaponize your hamster, or they can weaponize your dog, or they can weaponize. They can weaponize the cold virus to specifically target you. Like they can take and do this. They can weaponize. They can take and spread a cold virus in, let's say New York, and they're looking for you. You're hiding, and they can't find you. But they know you come out, and they know you go on the subway, and they know you do whatever. But they can weaponize this cold virus, spread the cold virus around, New York the way it normally spreads. But it is specifically been modified to target your genetic makeup to take you out.
Sounds like something from fucking Blacklist.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, that's what this kind of stuff is. I mean, like go through the and it used to be really expensive to do, but now we're talking like $200.
Well, the Chinese know how to work cheap.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now some of this is America's fault too. Now, that whole Silicon Valley and BIOS junk startup is, and some of this is they're to blame for this. I mean, for some reason, somebody had to have freaking glowing plants, and they decided it was be a great idea to figure out how to make this CRISPR stuff cheap, and they did.
Well, you can get glowing plants from China. You've been able to get it for years.
Oh yeah, you can get you now can get glowing fish and some other thing. They were trying to sell me what was it? Was it octopuses that glow?
Are you frequenting Temu or something?
Huh?
Are you frequenting Temu or Alibaba?
No, this is stuff that like these are like science things that kids had wanted in the past, and they keep popping up. And I mean, like, they have them on there, but this was, yeah, they have the glowing rats and mice now. I saw those.
Oh wow,
those are freaky. Yeah. All right. The other one is insect allies. This comes from DARPA.
insect allies.
Yeah, they're programs that use insects as delivery vectors for gene editing viruses capable of modifying crops or biological targets in the field. It has been.
So now they're gonna just attack our food.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
There's a certain point when your weapons just get so bad. It's like, dude, you gotta stop this shit. You just gotta stop this shit. I mean, all this stuff. No wonder this is gonna be like humanity. Like with all these weapons of destruction, of mass chaos, we're gonna. Now I understand when it's said that what we're about to do is something that no other human has ever done on any planet at any time. It is that grotesque. Now I get it.
Well, I guess this is breaking news, guys. I guess. Hold on. Throw it up on the screen.
Who broke the news?
This comes from Yahoo, and the Washington Post, which I hate. But apparently, billionaires are on the move. They're going to their bunkers. They're
Who is?
It said billionaires. It says there's this thing where they got something set up where you can somebody has figured out how to track billionaires' jets and things, and where they're going to their bunkers, and they got like an app now, and apparently it has just like popped off and become active, and like all these people are rushing to these places. So I guess they're thinking something's about to happen. I don't know. I mean, there was just
Well, Putin's got fucking drones in and is he actually attacking Poland?
I mean, I couldn't find anything more about it, but yeah. I mean, there was
Well, it could be a CIA plant article too.
Yeah.
During the 2003 Iraq War, I was switching between MSNBC, Fox News, and CNN. I think MSNBC was the one that actually got the first shots because the other two were on commercial.
Well, I mean, you know, like that.
Something on Fox News where they said, oh yeah, they found a a warehouse where there was a fuselage where they were planning terrorist attacks on planes and stuff like that to justify the whole 9/11 thing. But it was one article and you never heard about it again.
There is I mean, in the story I just told, it talks about, what to believe, like she was talking about the fog of war and stuff, not knowing what to believe here and there and hearing bits and pieces and stuff. And that's kind of what we experience. We don't know what's real, what's going on, what's really going on where, you know, I mean, you be frank and be honest about it. We have no idea what's going on, like in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan or Israel or anything like that. And I've spoken with people in Israel, and I've spoken with different people in Israel, and I've gotten, two different viewpoints.
What are the well? Yeah, what one thinks they're winning, the other one thinks they're losing, right?
Pretty much, and like I said, there's a large group that want them to go ahead and take them all out. I mean, Israel's going to do what Israel's going to do. Well, I mean, yeah, Chad, that's right. But I mean, the pretty much everything we get is fiction. I mean, it kind of feels that way. Everything is either under embellished or over embellished, and
Yeah, and then now we want to talk about the whole UFO craze and them releasing stuff. Why?
I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing. The UFO stuff has got me spinning, man. I mean, I it doesn't make sense for like them to do it. It doesn't make any sense at all for them to use the UFO as a spin. Because we've already been here. We've already. I mean, we know about Jeffrey Epstein, and we know about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and we know about the people in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and we keep talking about it till we're blue in our faces. And we know about Iran, and we know about Iraq, and we know about all this other stuff. I hate it when people say those things, and it's got to be something else. Yeah.
Either uh, do you okay? My personal opinion is because the prediction from Meyer is that we will have back-to-back civil wars, and the rebels will lose the first war, and the second war will start out of the ashes of the first one because people will realize that the government is so corrupt that it's time to just end it and do something else because it's unfixable. And that's when America breaks into five separate countries as we go into our second civil war. I think the first one started in 2020. You could even go as far back as 2016, 2017, to say that the Civil War had already started. But even if you look at our last Civil War, it took over a decade for it to move on. It took the election of one man to cause everybody to say, fuck it, we're done.
I had a thought there. I don't know what I thought it was. I had a thought.
Be careful; those are dangerous.
Yeah, I'm making sure. I'm making sure I don't want to get hit with what I said. Yeah, I guess I'll say it. Now, some places say this is people are making up stories, but I don't think so. You remember we was talking about the ticks?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, there has been more and more cases of farmers reporting boxes of ticks on their properties, and they're trying to figure out who is putting those ticks out there. What they're trying to spread and what they're trying to do, and this falls into the whole insect ally category.
So you've got some rogue scientists. Because there are a lot of sympathizers that think like Dr. Fauci.
I think there's just a lot of crazy people. A lot of smart, crazy people. You know.
Well, these are the people that that want to end humanity, because they think that we're a cancer, and so now they're using their position, their knowledge, and their expertise to be able to facilitate that, and they feel socially justified because of people like Greta Thunberg.
I don't even know how to begin with her. I don't know. I mean, she's got her boyfriend now. She's definitely filled out. I guess that's all I should say on the subject. But I tell you what though, that she cemented her whole thing. She is now, you know, doesn't have to work, doesn't have to do anything. She's in the millionaires club, and she didn't do anything.
But she's also autistic.
I think her parents pushed her that way. She might be, but she's got a boyfriend now, and
Yeah, well, yeah, my best friend, he's autistic, his wife's autistic, and he's got two autistic children with a third one on the way.
yeah, but I mean, she's become a lot more active in doing things that I can't talk about on that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean
Okay,
that's
so
what I
I
was.
don't
That's
know.
what I was implying. I mean, it's more like, if you're that mindset, if you're that kind of mindset of an individual, and you believe in that, you're on that. And I'm not talking about spectrum. I'm not talking about autism. If you are on that side of the political party, it seems like a lot of people deviate to um, that side of things.
I think she just thought that she had friends, and those friends really wanted to co-opt her because they saw, one thing about autistic people is they generally tend to obsess about one thing. Like, my buddy, his thing is military because his brother was a airborne ranger, and so he's completely fascinated. He knows everything about everything, even can make his own weapons from scratch because he obsesses about it. And every person I've ever come in contact that is autistic, they obsess about something. Like the kid I met the other day, his thing is scary stories and spooky, all the spooky stuff, and so he completely obsesses about it to the point where it's almost kind of creepy. But it's just she was obsessed about it, but there were people within the green agenda that took advantage of her because of how big of a voice she got.
Well, I mean, I think autism is the next step in human evolution. I do.
I'm right there with you.
I mean,
There's a lot of people that think that.
there's nothing that can change my mind about that. I mean, after having my son and watching him and seeing how smart he is on certain things and being able to do stuff that just friggin' shocked and amazed. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how is this guy my kid? Is he an alien or something? What's going on? And but yeah, I don't know. The other thing, now we're going to get into some of the stuff people have heard of before. I think let's talk about frequency, weather control, and geophysical weapons.
Hey,
Huh?
my battery's at about 15%, so I can do a couple more minutes, but then I've gotta hop off so I can at least have a phone for the morning.
You're fine. If you need to go ahead and skip out, that's fine. We can pick up tomorrow. I can go ahead and run through these since I'm on them, and
Yeah,
um,
I'll be in Williamsport tomorrow, and there's a library there, so I'm gonna stop in, and I'm gonna camp around there for like 2 days, so
okay.
I should be good on power and signal.
All right, man.
Uh,
Go rest and stuff. Get charged up. Call me when you can. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
all right, talk to you tomorrow.
Uh,
Bye.
bye. Hey guys, I am going to take a quick 5 and go smoke. I will be back here in really short or really quick. If anyone pops in chat, or anybody pops in or whatever, tell them I'll be right back. Okay? I'll be right back, guys. We're gonna talk about HARP and a few other things in a minute. Oh, I'm back. Yeah, that was Friar Tuck. Oh, hello everybody. I mean, I had to go take a break and smoke and get something to drink and some medicine. TV show, right? What TV show? I'm lost. Anyway, we all know about HAARP. It's the atmospheric heating facility in Alaska. It's officially a research station. It's capable of disrupting communications, interfering with missile guidance systems, and potentially inducing atmospheric events. Officially, in 2015, it was transferred to the University of Alaska, but there's still government activity up there. I am confused. I'm not sure what's going on in chat. Collector's call. Yeah, Friar Tuck. He does like homeless stuff, survival stuff, things like that. He's a pretty good guy. He's been coming on helping me with stuff and whatnot. It helps to have like a back and forth person when you do these live streams. I'll have other guests come on at different points. It just depends. Yeah, I inhaled. Get my breath back. I had to. Anyway. Did you know that China has a weather modification network? They spent $168 million. It's a ground-based silver iodine burners that cover an area of 1.5 kilometers the size of India. It creates rain on demand for Tibet. The military applications have not been discussed publicly. You're more than welcome to hang out here. I mean, it's sometimes it's a slow burn when it's just me, but I mean, and depending on if I get onto it. I mean, like tonight, all I had planned to do was do this WW3 thing. Sometimes go over there's more UFO stuff that I wanted to go over. I wanted to go over the rest of this stuff, but I was hoping to go. Yes, they do have an artificial sun. The artificial sun is what's disturbing. Hey, wait a minute. Let's see. I got an idea. This was a video that I wanted to watch, and might as well go ahead and watch it with you. This is SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, this is a very unusual story. A number of government agencies are looking into this. One phrase used was its, quote, raised eyebrows. Now the White House says they'll leave no stone unturned in this investigation. As you mentioned, Christine, 10 scientists involved with government agencies or military research died or have been reported missing since 2023. 3 worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in La Cañada, Flint Ridge near Pasadena. Michael Dowd Hicks was a researcher. He died in July 2023. Frank Maywald, a principal researcher, died in July 2024. Monica Jacinto Reza was an aerospace engineer at JPL. She vanished last June while hiking with a companion in the Angeles National Forest.
Now, see, I went over all these in an earlier stream. Like I said, there's some really bizarre stuff going on with it. I have not watched this. This was released 2 hours ago from Secure Team 10. I am like really curious about what they have to say. Some of their stuff is kind of good, so you guys should go check them out if you want to. I do believe that we should cross support platforms and stuff. Are you talking about the fringe music?
Carl Grillmar was a Caltech astrophysicist shot and killed outside his home. The questions now, were these coincidences or is it something more sinister?
Hey, what is up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. So before we get started in today's report, I have to take a second to talk about some truly heartbreaking news that has been rocking the UFO or UAP research community. I am sad to say today that David Wilcock
Still kind of
passed
sketch.
away on April 20th of an apparent suicide, with details still scant but coming in. For those of us who have spent years in these trenches, David was more than just a researcher. He was a constant voice for the disclosure movement, whether from his own YouTube channel, features on shows like Ancient Aliens. He definitely made an impact, and this is just truly sad news, and that our hearts go out to his family. The circumstances around this are very strange, because while the official report is out, the sentiment online is one of pure disbelief, including on my part. People aren't buying the official story, not for a second. And why is that? Well, because just 48 hours before this happened, David posted to his followers online that he had, quote, some very intense stuff going on, and that he was planning a massive live stream for that Monday. He seemed driven. He seemed like a man with a mission. Then, on the very day he's supposed to go live and potentially connect the dots on what today's video is about, which is on these missing scientists, the day that the House Oversight Committee launches its own investigation, he's gone. How does a man who just wrote that he, quote, slept well, ready to host a show, pivot to a total crisis in less than 24 hours? And why, as Representative Tim Burchett put it, is the timing so, quote, perfectly aligned with the government's attempt to get ahead of this story? So did David have a similar warning, or was he truly pushed to a breaking?
I was supposed to work with him. Like I said, I was supposed to go on Ancient Aliens and work with David and the other guys on there. When this happened, this was kind of like hard for me to believe. I don't know. I mean, it was. I mean, like, I made a short video about it, and I expressed my condolences to the family, and I mean, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on over the years. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around it. There is. But I mean, I always round back to why. I want to know why. I mean, that's how I work. I mean, why are we having these type of things? Why are these people doing this? I mean, you know, the Ancient Alien guys, they're making money. And, you know, I'm sure they probably had drug problems and stuff like that, and alcohol problems. I don't think he's alive. I really don't. You know, it's the whole thing's concerning. It is. I mean, you know, this year comes along and we get to the point where we have so many people that end up missing and go away, and I don't know. I mean, are they really taking people out because of, like, you know, UFO disclosure and things? I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. And I mean, I don't know. And like half of the files they dumped are stuff we've already seen before, or the community has already read through. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Uh,
point by the intense stuff that he mentioned in his social media post before this occurred. And so in today's video, we are going to look at the full picture because David Wilcock is now the 12th name on a list that is starting to look like a hit list for the scientific community. We are talking about 12 American scientists and researchers all tied to nuclear, aerospace, or UFO/UAP programs who have vanished or passed away since mid-2024 under strange or mysterious circumstances. The House Oversight Committee isn't calling this a, quote, conspiracy theory anymore, as they were before when this story was still on the fringes. In fact, they sent a letter to the FBI, the Pentagon, and the Department of Energy calling this a, quote, grave threat to national security. The FBI is, quote, spearheading this probe now. But is that to find the truth or to manage the fallout? The most effective cover-up is not silence. It's a tragedy that looks witnessed. So what did David know? What was he going to say in that live stream on...
we did. That was the first part of the video. I mean, this is like the wind down. The streams usually go for about 2 hours. Sometimes they go for 3, depending on the information and content. I should need to add about the channel news. Somebody was asking me, and I'm going to release a thing. I'm going to release another like a notice tomorrow. Yeah, I already did the title. I don't know. I think she might be confused a little bit. Maybe she come in last and she didn't see the first part. I don't know. Anyway, but on channel news, all of the older content is staying on the channel. So what's going to happen is I've tried to work with YouTube and try to figure out things. So we're going to be doing the live streams. I'm going to have guests come on and do all of that stuff. And, okay, I'm trying to follow along in the chat there and try to talk to. But, also the older content is coming back out again. So there'll be those stories. So if you like those, you can listen to those and, you know, it's still going to be there. I'm also going to run stuff over on Patreon. Now, of course, there are the tiers and stuff, but the majority of Patreon is free. So, you can join. You ain't got to worry about paying for anything. When it's set up. I mean, I have it active. I just got to turn it back on and everything. And pretty much everything else is just like shared platform. But I don't know. I'm trying to redesign it, trying to do it right. Trying to keep the lights on. Trying to do what I used to do and what I like, Well, I mean, yeah. So anyway, this, whenever you see you should see little notes come out, or either posts or videos about channel updates. Well, most people you do have to pay. But you don't have to pay for everything. I mean, this is free, and, the other thing is free and whatnot. And you can, I don't expect anyone to, you watch and learn and talk and do whatever. It's all about entertainment and all about learning and trying to figure out things and connecting with other people. Communities like this to me are people who grow and learn and feel like that. Hope y'all learn something else. Eh? Oh dear. Okay. I'm not going to follow along in comments now. No, I'm not nowhere near you. But I don't know what's going on. Anyway. I know you guys saw that one. Anyway. But anyway, like I said, guys, I don't know. I got to talk to Tuck about that. I do. Sorry, guys. I'm being distracted by the comments in the section there, and the other thing, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and I've gotten distracted. Misty, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Or oh dear. Okay, I'm going on with this. Okay, seismic weapons. Project Faultline Theory, the hypothesis held by former Soviet weapon scientists. Yeah, it's freaky. All right. You remember the big underground test that kind of like shook the earth a while back? They actually thought they popped off a volcano. Well, this was the Project Faultline Theory. The Soviets had wanted to place a nuclear weapon within Yellowstone. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. But anyway, like I said, they wanted to place a nuclear weapon within Yellowstone and set off a chain reaction, causing the one of the biggest volcanoes in the United States to go off. Well, the thing is, they can't get to it. But they noticed that the fault line and the volcanic line connects from a volcano in Russia to here. So they say that they placed a nuclear weapon within the volcano to test if they could detonate it or cause some type of reaction. And that's what happened earlier this year. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I think that I'm going to take off. I'll see you guys in the morning. I'm going to do this to clear out chat. Okay, guys? Just in case. I think it might be past somebody's bedtime. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Stay paranoid, my friends. New content will be coming out tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. Tomorrow should be interesting. Maybe I'll get some more sleep.